Hello and a very warm welcome. Driver ratings for the Italian Grand Prix. All 20 drivers covered. Let's get straight into it. Charles Leclerc, 10 out of 10. Pole, race win. Dominant, holds off Lewis Hamilton. Form of his life. Ahead of Vettel in the drivers. Back-to-back pole positions. Back-to-back race wins. It's 10 out of 10 for the Monegasque. Vettel, 0. And I give him 0 for what he did in the race. I mean, driver error in the first place, spun, then literally comes back on the track, hits Stroll, ruins Stroll's race. It was such a rookie error for a 4-time world champion, and he's been battered by Leclerc recently. I mean, he's just been awful recently, Vettel. I mean, is Ferrari moulding that team round Leclerc? Vettel feels left out. He's in poor form. He's a world-class driver, but in horrible form. Lewis Hamilton, 8, pushed Leclerc all the way, was all over Leclerc, DRS every time. Ferrari's like a rocket on the straight. He goes off at turn 1 through the bollard, came in, put fresh tyres on, got the fastest lap. Valtteri Bottas, 8, had a chance to win. I mean, it was a pretty stale race for Bottas. He was in third all the time, and then right at the end, closing down Hamilton, closing down Leclerc, but not enough to win. P2 for Bottas. Giovinazzi, 9. Best result in F1 at his home race. He qualified 11th, finished 9th. Should have been 9th at Spa, put it in the fence. He gets 9th at his home race. Brilliant by Giovinazzi. Kimi, 0. Crashed twice. Crashed in practice, crashed in qualifying, started in the pit lane due to his crash. I mean, he crashed a car twice, so he deserves 0. I mean, it was awful by Kimi. He gets a stop and go as well, because he had the wrong tyres on. Because Kimi was in the top 10, although he never really set a lap time because he put it in the fence, he still had to start on them tyres, so stop and go. Sergio Perez, 8 out of 10. Stopped in qualifying, took his penalty, and then a brilliant race, came all the way through, finishes 7th. He's a consistent driver, Perez. He's always underrated. Lance Stroll, I'm going to give him 9. I thought Lance Stroll had one of his best weekends. I mean, he actually got in Q3. He qualified 9th. Amazing weekend. In the race, he was P7. If Vettel didn't run into him, he would have been P6. Who knows where he could have finished. Racing Point looked quick. Lance Stroll was superb. We take the piss out of him, but wasn't his fault in the race. Grosjean, 0. Absolutely awful. Probably should lose his seat. I mean, Grosjean, not very good. 16th in qualifying, 16th in the race. Haas, bloody shambolic. Kevin Magnussen, 2 out of 10. Awful race by Kevin Magnussen. But he had a decent qualifying, so that's the only reason I've given him 2. Daniel Ricciardo, along with Charles Leclerc, star of the weekend, 10 out of 10. Best of the rest all weekend, qualified 5th, finished 4th, and Renault really had strong pace. Outstanding by Ricciardo, definitely his best weekend in Renault since he joined Renault. He had a good result at Canada, off the top of my head, but this is his best weekend by far. Hulkenberg, I've wrote 9 down. Does Hulkenberg deserve a 10? Nah, we'll stick with 9. 9, brilliant weekend, lots of points for Renault. Qualified 6th, finished 5th. Like, he was behind Ricciardo, but great points for Renault. The highest points they've got as a team in ages. George Russell, 7th, 14th. He finished 14th, beat an Alpha, beat a Haas. Once again, schools Kubica. Alright, qualifying wasn't great, but then he's in a Williams. I mean, in the race, he beats Kimi and beats Grosjean, so I give Russell a 7. Kubica, 1. Last all weekend again. His return's been, it's been poor, it's been awful. He can't beat George Russell. He just can't beat him. I don't understand. Where is the Robert Kubica that we used to know? Max, 5 out of 10. He knew coming into the weekend he had a grid penalty. Starts last, pitted twice, lost his front wing on the first lap, pit twice, came back. It was decent by Max, but yeah, I give him 5. Standard weekend, not world class like we know, but He didn't do much wrong. Albon, 5 out of 10. Now, I wasn't impressed with Albon, I've got to say. I can't be two-faced. I used to have a go at Gasly for not beating Reynolds, and Albon's done the same, so I can't be two-faced about it. Albon qualifies 8th. He finishes 6th. I give him 5, standard. Very average. Beaten by the Reynolds. It's not good enough for a Red Bull driver. Okay, Max got beat by the Reynolds, but he was starting at the back. Gasly, 5 out of 10. Decent race, close to the points. Probably would have got in the points if he didn't have to avoid Lance Stroll at Ascari. Kvyat, 6. I mean, maybe could get a 7. 13th in qualifying. I mean, Kvyat was P6. He was running in the points and then the car lets him down, so it's not Kvyat's fault. I think I'd give Kvyat a 7, actually. Carlos Sainz, 9. He's another one who's basically the pit crew let him down. He was P6. Everyone was P6. Stroll should have been P6. Sainz, Kvyat, but a lot of retirements. Sainz was P6, then the pit crew didn't fit the wheel properly. He goes out the pits, he has to stop the car. Back-to-back DNFs, but I give him a 9 because it wasn't Sainz's fault. I mean, he qualified 7th, he was running 6th. He was superb once again, Carlos Sainz. And last but not least, Lando Norris, 6. He had a tough weekend actually, Norris. Had a penalty, qualified 14th, got the last point in 10th. Hardly saw him on the TV. Scores a point after taking a penalty, so I give him 6. There we have it. Driver ratings for the Italian Grand Prix. Comment down below whether you agree, disagree. We got a couple of 10s, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo. Kimi and Vettel, 0. Vettel was shambolic, should have been disqualified in my opinion. And yeah, he has low on confidence. That is qualifying reaction done. Race reaction, driver ratings for the Italian Grand Prix. We do this every week, but people still come, even though in the title it says qualifying reaction, race reaction. People come to the video and think you can see the footage. I mean, 2019, are you not subscribed? These people who come on expecting to see the footage, and then are they not subscribed to F1? Literally, after qualifying finishes, watch it on the F1. This is reaction, will always be reaction, and driver ratings. Qualifying reaction, race reaction, driver ratings. You can't show footage. It will be taken down, you'll get a copyright strike. But I do this because I'm passionate about F1. Comment down below, we'll always reply. And who should we stick on the thumbnail? It's got to be Daniel Ricciardo for me. Leclerc dominates the Italian Grand Prix, pole position, race win, in the form of his life, taking his 4-time world champion teammate to school. We go on to Singapore in 2 weeks. We'll be hitting the 2-hour mark. Now this is what I don't understand. 53 laps around Italy. We got 61 at Singapore, even though Singapore's a longer track. One of the toughest races. It's humid, it's hot. We race for 2 hours. Guaranteed safety car. Who can keep their cool under the lights at Singapore? I'm gonna say Max. Max is my tip to win Singapore. So there we have it, Italian Grand Prix weekend done. We go on to Singapore in 2 weeks' time. Join me for qualifying reaction, race reaction, driver ratings. Brilliant, brilliant Charles Leclerc. Thanks for watching, get them comments in. Adios.